going back to this first Twitter question that I posed as we went to break, I'd like to know if he has the same forecast for financial collapse that he had 1 year ago. Have things changed? So you've been dead on about exactly what would happen, even the countries where it would start. Do you want to revise that any, because you have new info? And then I will add the caveat, the proviso. And what do you see coming in the year after that? What comes next?
All right, here it is. This came out when it was released in January 13th, the top trend. The crash of 2010. We stick with our forecast. Before the new year begins, no one will be able to deny that the great equity markets have crashed. The currencies are being devalued around the world. Gold prices are well over $1,500. We are sticking with our forecast that the markets will crash before the year is out. And I also want to make this very clear. It's not only going to be a financial crash. It's going to come from a lot of different directions. Our greatest fear, and we've said this when they began the great bailout bubble in March of 2009, is that when all else fails, they take you to war. So our scenario is this, Alex. We're going to see 9/11 magnitude terror strikes happen. When they happen, the last time they happened, after 2001, they closed Wall Street down for several days. If you had CDs, you couldn't cash them in. They're financial instruments. This time, they're going to close the banks. And when they reopen the banks, we forecast they will have devalued the dollar. So they'll say, don't worry about it. You'll be able to get your money out. It's backed by the FDIC, but you can't get it out all at once. And when you do get it out, it's not going to be worth a fraction of what it was before. So these are the integrated systems that we're looking at. And I'm saying this so that people take proactive measures now. Don't wait to wake up one day as you did yesterday and see the markets collapse around you. Take proactive measures now. It doesn't cost anything. But if you don't plan for the worst now and the worst happens, then you'll lose everything. If you take measures now and things happen slowly, you haven't lost anything, you've gained.
So what do we do? Get a lot of our money out of the bank? Most people don't even have any money to get out of the bank. What do you do? Get some storable food, water, get a second job now so you're ready for what's coming. Warn your neighbors so they'll have some respect for you and listen to you when all this comes true. What do we do, Gerald?
Well, all of those things. Number one, about the neighbors. Like-minded people forming groups. In the event the worst happens, then you have a strategy and a plan. You can work together. It's the community. Keep your money. Don't spend a dime you don't have to spend, especially on junk and eating crappy food. Cook your own, make it better. The survival strategies that you talk about with the seeds and the water. Number three, any money that you do have, I keep it in my own hands. Why keep it in the bank? What are you getting from putting it there? You're only taking a risk. Speaking only for myself, I'm a firm believer in gold. 80% of my assets are in gold. And then people, I see these comments and they say, oh, Celente's involved with, gold companies. No, I'm not. I don't take a penny from anybody. So it's only what I do and what I believe, and I've been writing about it for years. And number four, I'm a believer in Second Amendment rights. Make sure you're armed for the worst to happen, because you're going to see violence increase at a very rapid rate. So those are the kind of initial things to consider. Grow your own, those crisis gardens that you talk about. As summer is coming upon us, you could grow all the food you need to feed your family and have a lot left over and put it up for the winter. So anything you can do, that Yankee frugality, let's go back to the things that made this country what it was. Use it up, wear it out, make it do without.
Well, expanding on that, I think about my grandfather on my dad's side. He would repair his own equipment. I mean, you talk about MacGyver, and all those old farmers and ranchers were like that. My dad has a lot of those skills. I don't have 1/10 of the skills my dad has. He has probably half the skills his father had. And everybody knew, even in good times, to have storable food, to be prepared, to save money, because they'd gone through the Great Depression. And if we had right at 90% of the public being rural during the Great Depression and being self-sufficient, and still major universities have estimated 17 million starved to death over those 10 years. And now we have 89% being urban and only about 11% being rural. Only half of the rural are somewhat self-sufficient in national studies. If we have another meltdown depression like that, nobody's going to be able to take care of you. The government, the banks, they couldn't even help with Katrina. They can't even stop an oil leak. I mean, my God, we're talking about a road warrior situation. And I see the reports where they're laying off half the teachers in some cities, more than half the cops, half the sheriff's deputies, and the half they keep are there in the news being told they're just there to raise revenue and write tickets for the government. So, and I'm starting to see a lot of sheriffs in Texas and Pennsylvania and Ohio say, buy guns. You've got to protect yourself. So we're seeing the veneer of the civilization, the rotten paint starting to peel off.
Yeah, and you said it about in the old days, people knew how to do it themselves. You know, I own a 1994 Audi. I could buy anything that I want to buy. I don't want one of those cars. I don't need all those gadgets. You know, kick the addiction. And by the way, stop wasting your money and going to college and getting a degree in business administration. You know, this is a lot of baloney. If you're going to go to college, only do it for a skill that you can get a return on investment. That's one of the biggest rackets in this country. We talk about the military-industrial complex. We talk about big pharma, big food. It's also the college industrial complex. This is one of the greatest scams going on in the world. I love it. Oh, my son got a scholarship. Oh, not a full scholarship, a partial scholarship. How much is it going to cost? Oh, only about $20,000 a year. Oh, it would have cost $40,000 a year. Yeah, you know what it's like? It's like going to one of these bazaars in Turkey where they give you, oh, you could buy it for this price. They'll get any dollar that they can get. You're wasting your money, sending your kid to school if they're not going to get a diploma that's going to buy them a job. Stop this nonsense and put the money to good use. And if you want to get a skill in business administration, start as an apprentice, working for somebody.
But that's the way it was done. That's the way it was done. I mean, I read about the founding fathers and then Andrew Jackson. They were all apprentices. That's how they got their law degree. That's how they got their professorship, is that there were a lot of people that wanted to be apprentices. They only took the people that were smart and willing to work, and that's what built this country, was the apprenticeship system.
Exactly. People are wasting. These kids are getting out of college with $50,000 in debt, and they can't get a job stocking shelves at Walmart at 1 in the morning.